I couldn't say no now. I do really excited to be here at COSM Law here on Speak today and excited to get started, but we do have some bad news to start the show with. It's fun to argue about, it's fun to talk about what you would do in this scenario, or would you leave the game if the seats were high, or if a man took you this place on a first date what you would do. So I'll never be in another public relationship. I was in multiple public relationships, that's not how I can not on that, but never though. That's no, I can't never. So there's a difference between a private relationship and a public relationship. Got so what happens when one of the biggest sports networks in the world gets hit with the shocking allegation? A new lawsuit is exposing a toxic culture at Fox Sports, and the details are enough to leave you speechless. From claims of harassment to accusations of harm and retaliation, this case is pulling back the curtain on some of the network's biggest names, including Joy Taylor. But that's not all, because the leaked tape that's been making headlines has added another layer to this explosive story. Let's get into it because this one is a wild one. Alright, so we've got to dive into this lawsuit because the details are seriously jaw-dropping. Nan Faraghi, a hairstylist known to work at Fox for over a decade, has filed a class action lawsuit that exposes what she says was a toxic in a workplace. According to her, Fox Sports wasn't just a challenging environment, it was a nightmare. A lot to unpack this week at Fox Sports as the network was hit with a lawsuit from a former hairdresser based in their Los Angeles studios. The lawsuit implicates not only Skip Biss but also Joy Taylor, Emmanuel Ao, and an executive at the company, and none of it is good. But Faraghi claims she endured years of harassment and mistreatment, describing a workplace culture that was misogynistic, racist, and ableist. In the lawsuit, she says that the executives on air talent were allowed to get away with outrageous behavior, and here's where it gets even worse. She alleges that when employees like her tried to speak up, they were retaliated against. Instead of fixing the issues, Fox allegedly promoted the very people responsible for the toxic environment. But that's not all. This isn't just about a bad workplace, cause Faraghi is also accusing the network of some serious misconduct, including physical and verbal harm. And it's not just random people being named, we're talking big names like Skip Biss, Charlie Dixon, and even Joy Taylor. They're listed in the suit, and this alone has the sports world buzzing. But let's talk about one of the biggest claims against Skip Biss, because this one is a bombshell. According to Nan Faraghi, she started cutting Biss's hair weekly for his show. At first their conversations were casual, focused on harmless topics like work and life, but things quickly took a turn, and Faraghi claims that Biss began making unwanted advances towards her. Zeke waves out, "Take me out, coach, we ain't going to talk about his take me out, it's my turn. It is, you told me it was my turn. You can talk all that you want to, yell and scream, it is my turn. Lost the game, it's my turn." The suit alleges that Biss found excuses to touch Faraghi during these appointments. He would give her lingering hugs after haircuts, pressing his body against hers and even brushing against her. It didn't stop there. Biss allegedly began kissing her on the cheek, making her increasingly uncomfortable, and Faraghi says she tried to avoid further contact by making excuses to leave as soon as the haircuts were done, often citing her responsibilities as a mother or other obligations. But Biss didn't seem to take the hint. According to Faraghi, he even made inappropriate comments about her body, calling her voluptuous. "Everything is a feminized conversation because we have injected minors into every conversation." Well, the situation became even harder for Faraghi to handle because of her limited English skills, which she says sometimes led to misunderstandings or made it difficult to speak up. But feeling trapped, she confided in a co-worker about Biss's behavior. However, instead of finding a solution, she was advised to stay silent. The co-worker allegedly told her that Biss was too powerful at the network and that reporting his actions would likely be ignored. This advice reflects a reoccurring theme in the lawsuit. Faraghi and others felt that Fox Sports prioritized protecting its high-profile employees over addressing misconduct. Y'all keep asking me to talk about this Joy thing, baby. I have two things to say. First of all, y'all was take ESPN the Fox like, oh listen to Amber, you hire her baby. I don't got what it takes, cause I'm not sleeping with nobody for no job. And in July 2021, Faraghi revealed her cancer diagnosis. It might put an end to Biss's advances, but instead of backing off, Biss allegedly continued to pursue her. According to the lawsuit, he told her outright that he wanted to be with her, and Faraghi says she panicked reminding him that there were cameras everywhere and reiterating that she didn't want anything to do with them. That's not all. Biss allegedly escalated things even further by grabbing her hands, kissing them and offering her $1.5 million to have sex with him. Shocked and terrified, Faraji made excuse to leave the room on ESPN, but now a new lawsuit has been filed against Skip alleging that he offered a Fox her stylist $1.5 million to have fun with him. Well, despite her repeated efforts to distance herself, Rajai claims that Biss's advances continued until he left undisputed in 2024, and these allegations painted a disturbing picture of someone using their power and influence to pressure a colleague into an unwanted relationship, and this LW to this and has pointing fingers at individuals. It's taking aim at the entire culture at Fox Sports and Kashi claims that for years the workplace was a hotbed of mistreatment and misconduct. She describes a system where employees weren't just ignored when they spoke up, they were actively punished. According to the lawsuit, people like Faraji faced retaliation after reporting harassment or mistreatment. Meanwhile, those responsible for the bad behavior, they were allegedly rewarded promotions, pay raises, more power. It's like the system was rigged to protect the wrong people. I really enjoy villains. I like villains. I like villains more than most. To make matters even worse, Faraji isn't just talking about her, she's also accusing the network of violating wage laws. She claims that Fox failed to pay minimum wages, overtime and other benefits that employees were owed. It's like every corner of this workplace was built to exploit its staff. Well, Fox Sports has responded to the lawsuit saying that to take allegations like this very seriously, but for many that statement feels like it's just scratching the surface. The network is under fire and this lawsuit could end up being the tip of the iceberg. Now this is where things take an even darker turn though, because according to the lawsuit, Charlie Dixon, the executive vice president of the content at Fox Sports, is being accused himself of inappropriate behavior that left Nan Faraji feeling humiliated and powerless. The suit details a specific incident at a birthday party for Joy Taylor in West Hollywood back in January 2017. Baragi alleges that Dixon approached her and began touching her inappropriately. She claims that she initially tried to defuse the situation by saying no thank you, but Dixon didn't stop. Instead, he allegedly moved his hand lower, rubbing her body and grabbing her butt. Faraji says she was mortified by the encounter and quickly faked an incoming call to escape. Just imagine being in this situation, cornered by someone with so much power over your career and knowing that saying no might not be enough to protect you. Well, after the incident, Faraji says she confided in Joy Taylor, whom she described as a friend, but instead of support, Taylor allegedly told her to get over it, emphasizing that they both had their jobs because of Dixon, and Taylor reportedly added that his influence was so great that he could take their positions away if they caused any trouble. But the hairdresser put it in a lawsuit along with some information that said they were at a party and she got hit on the butt, and I do believe it was by Skip. Biss and Joy Taylor allegedly told her to get over it, and this part of the story is particularly heartbreaking. That he turned to someone she thought she trusted, hoping for understanding, only to be met with a dismissive response. It's a reminder of how power dynamics and toxic workplaces can make even allies feel pressure to stay silent or look the other way. Well, Faragi also confided in another anonymous friend after the incident. According to the suit, this friend wasn't surprised by Dixon's behavior, calling him disgusting and blaming the toxic culture at Fox Sports, but instead of advising Faraji to report the incident, the friend warned her to stay quiet if she wanted to keep her job and continue supporting her son. Things are very non-negotiable for me. I went through a very serious stretch of therapy where I knew that the main thing that I was going to focus on healing was my complete inability to enforce boundaries, and to make matters even worse, the allegations didn't stop there. In 2023, an anonymous television host told Faraji that her contract with Fox wouldn't be renewed unless she slept with Dixon. The host also claimed that Dixon had made similar demands to other women at the network, suggesting a pattern of behavior that had gone unchecked for years. But Faraji's lawsuit accuses Fox of failing to investigate not just her situation but also other allegations of Dixon using his position to coerce women. According to the complaint, Fox either knew or should have known about Dixon's behavior but chose not to intervene. But as Fox knew or should have known about Mr. Dixon's willingness and propensity to use his position to harass women, Fox is liable for the materia.